once you have the lead and you have that game, you just don't know how many games you're going to win with your backup as you're trying to beat the Seahawks to the finish line here. And it feels like this season is going to feel like a Niners game over the course of 18 weeks, right? Where you get a lead and then you just try to hang on for dear life. So this season has turned into what their games are. And that's what their game was. It was back-to-back picks on back-to-back throws. Tua looked as bad as he's looked. He's missing guys all over the place. Dudes are wide open. You're getting interceptions.
Wide open.
And somehow they were just cross-country trip. Your guys getting after him for whatever reason. After that opening touchdown, the Dolphins offense was off for basically 2+ quarters until the fourth. Off.
Do you think that's a little bit like the game, like when you need a rally, you're down 4 runs and the guy hits a home run to lead off the inning in the 9th? It actually doesn't, people are like, it actually doesn't do anything for you. You're better off hitting a double and kind of getting it going. When you scored on that first play, it was weird. It was like, that was really easy, but no way it's humanly possible to be that easy that game. And it clearly flipped.
Yeah.
But that play, when it kind of hit you, you're like, did Trent Sherfield just go untouched for 75 yards? Obviously he did.
If it had been Tyreek, you would have thought like, oh God, we're in for a 300-yard receiving game from Tyreek Hill today, right?
I think today is a good example. Like defense is nowhere near some all-time defense, right? I mean, not that anyone's really saying that, but it does get better as the game goes on. And to me, what really stood out today is those 2 linebackers, open field tackles. Greenlaw made a couple huge plays, right? An open field tackle. He made that play late in the game when they went for it on 4th down. There were some plays like this game was in the balance, like you said. 17-10, 20-10, 23-17, and they're driving and he's going for it. What do you think about when he went for it on 4th and 1 from the 18-yard line?
It was crazy. It felt crazy, but I understood. There were 6 minutes and change left. He knows as well as anybody, even though this Niners offense, because of their lack of running backs and their lack of ability, like Buck Mason was 6 yards a carry today. But
he's good.
Yeah, he's good. But until the 30-yard run from McCaffrey at the end of the game to put it away, he was under 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
But to me, it made sense just because the Niners, they historically get the ball and go 6-minute drives. Now they didn't today. They only had 1 drive over 6 minutes on Sunday. But I did understand that as and obviously he had a play he loved. It worked.
He ran a play with 4 guys open for a first down.
Tua could have run it. Then who caught the ball in that play?
Well, Tyreek caught it, and Ingold or whoever was right over.
Whoever that.
It was a fucking. Why can't Kyle run that play? Hey, how about Kyle? Copy that play.
He knew the play would work. So I thought it was ballsy, but what did you think? I thought it made sense.
Yeah, I think part of it is less about like the individual game and more thinking like we got to win for a chance to win the division. Like, they're thinking stuff separate from the Niners, right? The Buffalo Bills just won. They're 9-3. So we're not playing to try to tie, get to overtime and we're playing to win. Like that's to me, Mike's mindset. I think it was Kyle's mindset. Like this game felt like both these 2 teams were playing to win. And I wonder if Kyle will continue that mindset moving forward. I thought Kyle did a really good job on the 2 challenges. How about that at the end of the game?
I thought they were both catches live.
Same.
Greenlaw, by the way, great play on the second one on Gesicki, getting his arm in there.
That was probably the play of the game, given what was on the line there, because he catches that. It's 23-7, right, or 17 right there. So if they drive and they take the lead, I don't think you can just chalk Purdy up for a field goal drive. There's no guarantee that he can get 3 or 4 first downs. Not only did I think it was a catch, I've never thought like this is a catch, and then the review, it couldn't have been further away from being a catch.
I know. Both
because
times.
when he rolls over and it's like, is that the best catch of the season? How did he catch that thing?
I know.
And even Moose was like, that was incredible coverage. And it was. Their linebackers, sneaky, Mooney Ward, solid player, but I wouldn't call him Mr. Shutdown. He's just good. It's just they have a good corner. But in part of it, I'm watching today with Maria. She's like, what's the deal with this 10 guy? I'm like, oh, that's Tyreek Hill, the guy from the Chiefs. Like, he's unstoppable. Like, it's not. She's like, why can't we get him? It's like, well, he's an unstoppable force. He
hits you like a bullet. When he hits guys, too, for a guy that's small, because he's just a muscle that's going, anything hits you at 80 miles an hour, right?
Would you say there's never been anything like him in our lives? I've never seen anything quite like that.
Because at his size, the guys that like LaDainian Tomlinson were not as it was just different. It's not the same.
And obviously the sweet speed wide receivers were long, right? Like a Randy Moss, Deshaun, not built like that. But he has, on that fourth down play, he leaps in the air, and it's kind of, how about his ball skills are incredible, right?
He's a strong catcher, right? He's a really
Oh
strong
my
catcher.
God. The touchdown to him, I mean, how many times has he run that play in his life for a touchdown, you think? I mean, in the league, 40? It's like Hufanga. Clearly, it's probably a tricky play right there. They did that on purpose to trick him.
Right.
But it's like, guys, we can't get tricked. We can give up. Guess what? Our linebackers can tackle the guy for a 5-yard gain or a 10-yard gain. We cannot tackle this guy wide open. I love it when it's like, Ward thought he had safety help, and he's just doing his job, taking the deep part of his,
I would just chase 10. Chase 10.
It's just wide open, and he's just like, and then he does like, neither of you guys are going to touch me. I'm kind of gonna, but I'm going to take a cool little angle into the end zone. When he hit that, I thought like, okay, I was just doing the math and just knew that they can score really fast. That's
there was a quarter left.
I took them very seriously for. I know Tua was. I mean, he had his worst game. He even said after the game, like, I was really terrible, and he was. He was really terrible. And then toward the end of the game, obviously Nick took over. The linebackers took over. They were just peppering him. And they played really good defense on that must-have drive, like the challenge plays. They were all over the ball, right? The coverage was legit. I mean, part of the reason Gesicki doesn't catch that is because Greenlaw's all over him.
Right.
Like if that was, probably the turning point of the game, just given like Miami could win it right there. And once the Niners get it back, at minimum, they're probably getting a field goal, and you do the math like, well, it's going to be 9 points, and it's going to be in fantastic shape, right?
They are not going to be locked down perfect for 4 quarters ever. Like, you are going to be able to hit them for big plays. That's clear, right? But that's the sport. Like that does happen across every game, every week. You can hit big plays. I know this. Like, I would say I'm pretty confident in this defense in this 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Like, they forced some 3 and outs. They forced multiple 3 and outs where, it was a 3rd and very short yardage, and they just make a play. So they make a lot of plays in their front 7, more so than in their secondary. And I think for the most part, like, we got to get like it. If I told you before the game, and it felt freaky watching the game, that you'd hold Miami to 17 points, you would have taken that, right?
Yeah.
You would have said, yeah, you're going to have to score 20 points to win this game anyway. And I give them credit for Tua. Like, they get some credit for Tua looking terrible.
For sure. I also think the first play of the game, I think that's somewhat of a freak play. Clearly, they had schemed it up thinking they could get a first down. I don't think they thought they would get a fucking 75-yard touchdown. The Tyreek play happens to everybody, right? If I'm nitpicking a little bit on the Tyreek play, like, I've literally seen that happen to the majority of teams he's gone up to against in the league, right? I mean, how many times did Mahomes miss him on that, right? I mean, he is, if Hufanga was there, he might still be open, right? If Hufanga didn't break on the, underneath route. Waddle was banged up today. That helped a little. Now, again, the 49ers would go, fucking our starting quarterback broke his foot. What, 5 minutes into the game? Was that the first drive?
It was the
second drive. Second drive.
Right? SF. No, it was the first drive.
He got sacked to end the first drive and never came, and then Purdy came in the second drive.
Yeah. I said that Purdy really missed a wide open Ayuk early. It was Jimmy actually on that series. Ayuk was wide open. He throws it to Kittle over the middle, almost throws into traffic Kittle play on 3rd and 6. Or maybe it was 2nd and 6, and then got hurt.
Well, Purdy missed Ayuk a couple times.
Yeah, no, everybody did. That game was as stressful as I thought it was going to be going in. Just, I didn't know why it would be stressful, but you just knew, right? If I told you the Dolphins would hit 2 touchdowns of over 45 yards, you'd go, yeah, okay. Right? 1 for 45, 1 for 75. You go, yeah.
Well, like watching today, the Chiefs are obviously going to win the West. I think the Bengals are going to win the North, and the Bills are going to win the East. So that'll probably be 1, 2, 3 in some order. Bills more than likely be the number 1 seed. But to go on the road to either as the 7 or the 6, you're probably going to have to play the Chiefs or the Bengals. And I have a hard time seeing the Dolphins. Like, I think the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs. They'll probably be a one and done.
Here's one thing that stood out to me, and I don't know if you
again, like, you beat a playoff team. I'm not trying to diminish or even on either side. But I think you watch them today and go, I don't know if Tua's Mr. Outdoor quarterback. I mean, today was part of that was Miami. Why I'd be pissed is like, this is a good environment for us to excel. Nice day,
right?
You know, like, what the fuck's going on, little Tua?
Missed guys wide open. Missed a lot. I think he's a starter, but he's
if I'm a hater of him, it was probably the worst game he's had in 2 months, which, against the best defense in the league is understandable.
Look, I do give the Niners some credit for it, but I thought they made him look bad, but he missed some wide open throws. Yeah. And then he stepped up and made a couple of big throws too. I do think, back to your point on Miami, though, one thing that stood out to me watching the game was that they shot themselves in the foot several times. They committed several bad penalties. One stretch that stood out was it after the interception where they got down to the Niners 28-yard line. Where's the sequence? And they went like holding, false start. I think they had at least 2 straight penalties, if not 3 straight penalties. They finished the day with 8 penalties. I'm trying to find the sequence in the game, but it was okay. So the series that Jimmy Ward got the pick, they get the Tyreek 19-yard play, and Bosa hits to a low, right?
Yeah.
So they had the roughing. So it was like a 30-yard play. They get 1st and 10 at the Niners 28-yard line. This is their first possession of the second half. False start. So from 1st and 10, it's 1st and 15. Offensive holding. So from 1st and 15, it's 1st and 25. And then they get the Jimmy Ward interception. So I did. Now, the Dolphins obviously were down 2 offensive linemen, but that was one of my takeaways. I'm with you today. It was like, Miami's good. They're not top tier AFC good, clearly.
No. But a playoff team, Niners needed to beat a playoff team. Felt good.
Yeah.
I think it's only the second besides Seattle. They haven't beaten too many playoff teams.
Is it just those 2 now? Because the Chargers lost to the Raiders.
Yeah, I'd say the Chargers are in some trouble. I would bet against the Chargers making the playoffs, I think.
They're out right now because they're 6-6.
Who would be the team that's in? The Patriots?
No, they're 6-6. The Jets at 7-5, but long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go.
Raiders at 5-7, sneaky late season team, John. Big close.
The Dolphins still have to play the Jets and the Chargers, so all these teams kind of play each other.